At 40, Sakai Yūsai had buried his wife by her own hand. His noodle shop in Kyoto had burned to the ground. And in his memory, somewhere deeper than he could reach, sat his service in Unit 731, the wartime laboratory whose true work no one in his country would name aloud. He had nothing left. So he climbed Mount Hiei. This is the story of Sakai Yūsai, a Tendai Buddhist monk who would do something almost no one in 1200 years had done. He would walk 24,000 miles around a mountain. He would do it with a cord and a short knife tied at his waist, to be used on himself if he failed. And after 7 years of this, he would do the entire ordeal a second time. Why is the question this story tries to answer. Sakai was born in 1926 in Osaka. He was a teenager when the Imperial Army assigned him to Unit 731 in Manchuria, a station whose purpose he would not speak of openly for the rest of his life. He came home at 19 to a country in ash. His family opened a small noodle shop. The shop burned down. He married a cousin. She killed herself. By 1965, he was 40 years old, and he could not see a single reason to keep living. He took a train to Kyoto. He climbed Mount Hiei. Mount Hiei is the spiritual home of Tendai Buddhism, founded there in 806 by the monk Saisho. For more than 1,000 years, the temple complex of Inryakuji had been a place where exhausted men came to disappear. Sakai went in to find a kind of disappearance. What he found instead was a tradition called kaihōgyō, the circling practice, invented in the 9th century by a monk named Su, who walked the mountain for years in search of Fudo Myō, the immovable one. Sakai was old. He was untrained. He was a beginner among teenagers. He was told that if he wished to walk the kaihōgyō, he should know what kaihōgyō asked of him. He listened. Then he asked when he could begin. He began at 47. The rules of the 1000-day kaihōgyō have not been written down for casual reading. They are simply enforced. The monk wakes before 2 in the morning. He wears straw sandals and a white robe, the color of death in Japan, because the kaihōgyō begins as a kind of dying. He must follow a fixed route of 260 stations around the mountain. He may not deviate. He may not sit. He may not remove his robe or his hat. He must complete every chant at every station correctly. And around his waist he carries the cord of death and the short knife, because for the first 100 days he may withdraw, but after that, the rule has stood since 1885, and only one path forward remains. Finish the 1000 days. Or use the cord. Or use the knife. In the first 3 years, Sakai walked 18 miles a day for 100 consecutive days. In the 4th and 5th years, he walked the same route, but for 200 days each year. He was permitted, mercifully, a walking stick. After the 700th day came the doiri. The doiri is the ordeal at the center of the kaihōgyō. The monk enters a small hall. He sits in the lotus position. For 9 days he does not eat. He does not drink. He does not sleep. He does not lie down. He chants the mantra of Fudo Myō 100,000 times. The ritual was once 10 days, but too many men died on the 10th, and so it was reduced. By the 5th day his lips bleed. He is permitted to rinse his mouth with water, but he may not swallow. The point of the doiri is to bring the practitioner so close to death that he becomes, for a brief moment, almost not alive. And when he emerges from the hall, he has been remade. Sakai survived the doiri. In the 6th year of his practice, the route lengthened to 25 miles a day. In the 7th year, the year that has broken almost everyone who has ever attempted it, he walked 52 miles a day. For 100 consecutive days. Through summer storms. Through autumn cold. Once, he was charged by a wild boar. His foot became infected. The pain was so great that he later said he forgot what had attacked him. What he remembered was the cord at his waist. In 1980, at the age of 54, Sakai Yūsai completed the 1,000 days. He was given the title of Daijari, Great Master. Since the year 1885, only 46 men had achieved it. Most never walked the route again. Sakai began the kaihōgyō a second time within the year. When he was asked why, his answer was not the answer of a man chasing prestige. He had not yet learned, he said, what the mountain was trying to teach him. The first 1,000 days had cleared the noise. The second, perhaps, would let him hear. He was now in his 50s. The body that had walked the 7-year ordeal once was older, slower, and full of the small injuries that never quite heal. The doiri waited again. The cord and the knife waited again. The 52-mile days of the 7th year waited again. In July of 1987, at the age of 60, Sakai Yūsai completed the kaihōgyō for the second time. In the entire post-war history of Japan, only one man had done what he had just done. 2 others in the modern era had completed the practice twice, and now there were 3. What he said afterward was not what people expected. He did not speak of enlightenment. He did not speak of supernatural powers, though many believed the monks of Mount Hiei possessed them. He spoke instead of an ordinary thing. Live each day, he said, as if it were your entire life. If you start something today, finish it today. Tomorrow is a different world. This was the lesson of 24,000 miles. It was not a secret. It was not hidden in the doiri or in the cord at his waist. It was simply what a man learned when he walked himself to the edge of his own death, twice, and discovered that what he had been searching for was not at the summit, but in the next single step. Sakai spent the rest of his life as the abbot of a small temple called Amuro Fudo Choju-in, on the slopes of Mount Hiei. He explained Buddhism to Pope John Paul II. He wrote books in plain language for ordinary people, because he believed that doing was greater than knowing. He told visitors that the mountain had not chosen him, he had simply not stopped walking. When he died in September 2013, he was 87 years old. The trail he had walked 24,000 miles around still circled Mount Hiei in the same 260 stations. Younger monks were on it that day. They are on it now. The man who once carried Unit 731 in his memory, who buried a wife and a livelihood and a country before he was old enough to know himself, became, in the end, one of the kindest figures many Japanese had ever known. He was not asked to be wise. He was not asked to be holy. He was asked to take one more step. That, he said, was the only practice. And it had been waiting for him on the mountain all along. Tales of Old Japan publishes one story every Sunday and Wednesday. If this one moved you, subscribe, and consider reading more at the Japan Dispatch, the newsletter that keeps these stories alive. The link is in the description.